this new moon is all about survival. If you take one message away from this video, that is it. This new moon is all about survival. So you're shining a light on all those difficult, dangerous, forbidden topics you're not allowed to speak about in polite society or whatever. We're shining a light on it and saying, look at that. This is what has been hiding there. What are we going to do about it? Okay, welcome all star signs to your creative forecast for the new moon in early November 2021. You may notice actually that I've cut my hair. It's a bit extreme. I had lots of long hair before. For anyone who's never seen one of my videos, I sort of like a big shaggy pile of hair, and I suddenly got quite cross and just went, right, that's it, got a pair of scissors and just chopped it myself in the bathroom. So that's why it looks a bit bizarre, but it's much easier to take care of. So hi, back to business. Hi, I'm Jane Holland. I am a novelist and an astrologer, and this is my creative horoscope, my creative forecast for all star signs, no matter what your sign is, for this very special new moon at 12 degrees of powerful, transformative Scorpio on November the 4th, 2021. And its surrounding astrological events. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel and leave comments below because I'd love to hear from you. And by the way, if you'd like to read the transcript for this video and all my videos, in fact on YouTube, you can find them on my Patreon page. The link is right below. And if you'd just like to support me so I continue making these videos, that would be great too. Now, a new moon is a time when traditionally we sow a new seed. You will have heard me say this before. We get new projects off the ground. We tap into our creative juices, who we are deep down creatively. And we look outwards too at the world. And sometimes we change our attitude, so we get new attitudes. Now, this particular new moon, we may also be asking important questions that need answers urgently. This new moon is in Scorpio, and full disclaimer, I am a Scorpio. So these are questions that are likely to be connected to any areas ruled by Scorpio. Now, this is a sign which has a reputation, justified or not, for keeping secrets, for delving deep, if you like, into the psyche, for dangerous and taboo topics like sex, for instance. Scorpio is about boldly going where nobody has gone before. So it's likely that some of these following questions may be in your head as we enter November. What do I need to do creatively, as opposed to what do I want to do? Because need and want obviously can be two very different things. Now, at a Scorpio lunar event, it's likely that I want has to take a back seat, even though Scorpio's two rulers are Mars and Pluto. Now, Mars rules desire, it rules wanting, but Pluto is more of an essentialist. Pluto tells us we need to strip away desires, we need to focus on our basic needs in life. Pluto is about survival, first and foremost. Now, Mars and Pluto working together on a problem is a bit like, I have this image in my mind of a kind of starving Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind. on her last legs, you know, raising her fist to heaven out there in the fields and swearing, "I'll never go hungry again." It's that internal drive to push through some terrible external crisis and come out the other side with our integrity intact. So, triviality, superficiality, whatever makes us feel good and happy, whatever's on the surface and, you know, is lovely, all these things may have to be pushed aside in November in favour of what helps us survive. So other questions that we may need to ask as creative types in November might be, what have I been avoiding in my life or my work that I need to confront head on? What am I still afraid of? You know, am I able to trust this person or trust this situation that's facing me? Can I dig deep in order to uncover or confront a difficult truth in whatever field you work in? Because all my horoscopes, remember, are essentially about creativity, but also spirituality. Also, you know, because creativity and spirituality are, in my mind at least, closely aligned, closely linked. Sometimes, you know, you can't have one without the other. You know, if you're out of kilter with your spiritual side, sometimes the creative side just isn't working for you. So what other questions? What's there in the dark? What's under the bed? And should I be worried about it? You know, if the answer is yes, don't ignore it. Whatever is worrying you, whatever is making you afraid, don't hide under the covers in November. This is the perfect time to crack out your brightest torch and shine a disinfecting light on that problem. Okay, so a major hiccup with this new moon is that it falls opposite Uranus. Now, Uranus stands for everything that is unpredictable, chaotic. It's freedom-loving. It's a little bit. It can be a little bit totalitarian too. It can be a bit extreme in its purity. And this opposition between the Sun and Moon and Uranus, basically, it's going to be buckle up and enjoy the ride, kids, or expect to be jettisoned quite violently somewhere along the way. So bear that in mind if you get into any confrontations. Don't want to worry you, but you know, this might be a good time not to engage if you can avoid it, if you can, because for some people that confrontation may in fact be inevitable, and it's just, as I said, a case of getting through that with your integrity intact. So the new moon, of course, for those who don't know, the new moon is when the sun and the moon meet in the sky and occupy the same exact degree, the same minute. And these are the two great opposites of the sky, the sun and the moon, for us and for the ancients. They're father and mother. They are yin and yang, light, and at this new moon they are dark, because the new moon is dark. It's always a few days later before the crescent moon appears in the sky, and so essentially the new moon is darkness and light together when the sun and the moon meet. And of course this particular new moon falls in Scorpio, which sort of rules the dark. You know, it rules those taboo things, those dangerous things under the bed. So you're shining a light on all those difficult, dangerous, forbidden topics you're not allowed to speak about in polite society or whatever. We're shining a light on it and saying, look at that. This is what has been hiding there. What are we going to do about it? Scorpio is all about these things, as I say, that are dark, that are concealed, that are kept hidden, kept prisoner. So, falling opposite the bright sort of lightning flash of the planet Uranus, if you like. It's not really a lightning flash, that's a metaphor for those who might be confused. Uranus demands freedom. Uranus is about absolutism with no nuance. So this is about things that exist under the surface of your life, things that you want to keep hidden, suddenly being exposed to the light. And you have to deal with that. You have to deal with the truth, really, because Scorpio is truth. And it could actually be a seismic event. It could be the Earth itself, because Uranus is in an Earth sign. It's in the Earth sign of Taurus, which is a very steady, sensible, keep your head down, do your work, earn your money, Taurus. So we might see an earthquake or an eruption of some kind in or around early November. And it could also be, as I say, political unrest, shocking revelations about politicians or governments, or even the planet itself. So this could signify a moment of upheaval for you. And as a creative artist, moments of upheaval can be intensely creative. They can strip away your complacency in whatever you've been doing, and force you to look at your work from a new perspective. And therefore, that this can be a breakthrough. Now, we've had a large number of planets actually moving backwards throughout the summer and early autumn, and one by one these planets have gradually been turning direct again, which is welcome news, of course. But now that the planets are moving direct again, the brakes have come off the car, and we may find ourselves suddenly going fast again, maybe even racing to our destination, or worse, crashing out of control into a ditch. And this problem is also highlighted by an aspect between Mars at 3 degrees Scorpio and Saturn in Aquarius. Now, Mars is, as I said, action, and Saturn is kind of the opposite. It's not quite inertia, it's more about restriction. Mars, Saturn in astrology is known as driving with the brakes on. You're feeling frustrated, you're unable to act freely. You might be a bit like, one of these caged animals, one of these big cats in a cage at a zoo, or rolling back and forth, and you can tell that they're ready to eat someone, as soon as they get out, because of their frustration and anger levels. The Uranian contact to the new moon has a very specific message in this situation, and that is, it's saying, act now. Saturn is forcing you, if you like, to resist that impulse and to feel the pain. While Mars is saying, you have to act, you have to move away from this pain. No, Saturn says, endure it and learn something. It's an irresistible force meeting an immovable object, and this can result in political unrest, in violence, and all those isms that go with that. Authoritarianism, totalitarianism, fascism, ideas that spring up under that terrible sort of frustration and pressure. But for us, for creative people, for artists, Mercury is sextile, is forming a soft angle to Venus, which is the planet of creativity. And this could give us a way out. It could show us that it's possible to talk our way out of this impasse at the new moon. It's possible to find a channel for these very powerful and frustrating energies through our art, through creativity, through the divine work of inspiration. And if what you're creating is very powerful and is dealing with these strong forces, then you're likely to make a huge impact with what you're saying. So if you're starting a new project, or you're working in collaboration on a new project, talk, tell people about it, because this is the moment when your words can have real weight and real weight of revelation. And Venus, very interestingly, at this new moon is just about to move sign. Venus is in sort of the last degrees of Sagittarius in the run up to this new moon. And Sagittarius is all about idealism and a search for truth. And when a planet is in the final degree of a sign, they often, exemplify those qualities, the qualities of that sign, really strongly, again, without much nuance. And then Venus is going to move into Capricorn. Now, this is a very useful shift for us, for creative people, because Venus rules creativity, art, harmony, beauty, symmetry, and Capricorn is an earthy, sensible, money-making, self-contained sign. It's not given to all that showy, dramatic, self-aggrandizing behaviour that may have been flying around recently. Capricorn is about as far from drama queen as it's possible to go. So as creative artists, we may find, as we move further into November, as we move away from that new moon and into the depths of November, there's a shift in our creative purpose from this idealistic quest for what feels good, for what supports us emotionally, for what feels like truth but possibly may not be, and what's fun most of all, to this more Capricornian, hard-working, head-down, practical approach to our creative projects. Capricorn, of course, is ruled by Saturn, who loves boundaries, and Venus in Capricorn respects authority. She respects boundaries and limitations, and she tries to work with them rather than sort of smashing them down as maybe Uranus might do. So for some of us at this Scorpio new moon, we may feel this intolerable tension, this frustration. We may be shocked by events that have smashed through our boundaries and left us spinning helplessly in space, especially depending on aspects to our natal planets. But one way to work with these challenging outcomes is to emulate Scorpio and to go deep within into our creative selves and to shine a light on what has been hidden instead. So while this new moon may fill many people with dread, as creative artists, we have a potential outlet for it. And perhaps, for instance, you may shift your vision of what you are able to do. You may shift your vision of what your creative purpose is. So perhaps an opportunity may arise in early November, which allows you, or forces you more likely, to do something new, to do something different, to push you outside your comfort zone as an artist. And you may have to accept that times have changed, and although you may feel restricted in some way, those boundaries may actually bring you harmony and bring you symmetry and allow you to use your talents in a practical application to make money, which is strongly Taurian, to make money and to survive, which is Scorpio. This new moon is all about survival. If you take one message away from this video, that is it. This new moon is all about survival. And sometimes we need to adapt to very difficult or very challenging circumstances in order to do that. So, after that rather dramatic forecast, please have a wonderful and truly creative month, dear friends and supporters. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I very much look forward to speaking to you next time.